Have you ever wondered why the same amount of money seems to buy less every year? A few years ago, you might have been able to buy a full meal for 50 baht. Today, that same meal might cost 80 or even 100 baht. Many people notice this change in everyday life but may not fully understand why it happens. The main reason is inflation. Inflation is one of the most important concepts in economics. It refers to the general increase in prices of goods and services over time. When inflation occurs, the purchasing power of money decreases. In other words, the same amount of money can buy fewer goods and services than before. To understand this idea more clearly, imagine that you have 1,000 baht today. If prices increase by 5% over time, the same 1,000 baht will no longer buy the same amount of goods in the future. Everything becomes slightly more expensive, and your money gradually loses value. Inflation can happen for several different reasons. One common cause is called demand pull inflation. This occurs when the demand for goods and services grows faster than the economy's ability to produce them. When many people want to buy the same products, businesses may raise prices. Another cause is cost push inflation. This happens when the costs of production increase. For example, if the price of raw materials rises or wages increase, businesses often pass these higher costs on to consumers in the form of higher prices. Inflation can also be influenced by changes in the money supply. When there is more money circulating in the economy, people may spend more, which can push prices upward. However, not all inflation is considered harmful. In fact, moderate inflation is normal in a growing economy. Many central banks around the world aim for a small and stable inflation rate, often around 2% per year. The problem occurs when inflation becomes too high or unstable. High inflation can reduce people's purchasing power, create uncertainty in the economy, and make it more difficult for households to plan their finances. That is why central banks closely monitor inflation and use monetary policy tools, such as interest rates, to keep inflation under control. Understanding inflation helps individuals make better financial decisions. It encourages people to think carefully about saving, investing, and managing their money over time. So the next time you notice that prices are rising, remember that inflation is quietly shaping the value of new in the economy.